Peter Fisher and Trevor Crone are favourites with 44 points, but Derek Brindley and Nick Roche and Vic Jefford and Peter Hill not far behind, just 1 point separating them. Your commentators, Roger Burnett and Barry Nutley.
It's somewhat ironic, the fact that everyone here has fitted slick tyres, and yet the clouds are gathering here at Donington Park. Surprise pole position, though, across the front row. Returned from the Grand Prix season. Barry and David Smith from Brighton qualified in horrendously wet conditions this morning, completing the front row. Mark Reddington, Robert Parker, Gary Thomas, Tony Strevens across the front row. The surprise, though, we're all astonished here in the commentary box. Derek Brindley and Nick Roche are at the tail end of the grid on row 11, and they are in second place in the championship. There are the championship leaders, number 14, Rob Fisher and Trevor Crone. On the Express Tyre Service Suzuki, the yellow Suzuki 4-stroke, slot into second place as Sean and Darren Dixon go through. It looked as though it was the Dixon brothers from Folkestone in Kent into the lead. Down towards the hairpin. Definitely Suzuki in second place. Looking for Brindley, he's having a lot of work to do, fighting through from the back. Also a good start by the Smith pairing on their carbon fibre Windle. So, Smith's in 5th place, Barry and David Smith in 5th place, number 18. The rest of the crews hurtling their way around the first lap. Roger, it's amazing that we've got to the end of the programme virtually. Everyone, and unbelievably, I saw the yellow Suzuki, hand in the air. I'm sorry, I've got to stop. I was about to hand over to Roger, but that is the championship leader cruising on first lap, but they're away again. Whatever the problem was, no, the hand is still up. So number 14, the big Suzuki, has a mechanical problem. That is indeed a severe disappointment for them because they were leading the championship. The best they can hope for now is a finish. Roger, any ideas?
I can only think that the engine's seized or something's gone wrong with the engine for them to go out this early. If it were tyres or anything else, it would have been later in the race. But the Dixon brothers there are out in the lead at the moment, and very, very sad for Fisher and Crone.
Darren and Sean Dixon from Folkestone in Kent, who had a brilliant ride here yesterday in the European Championship, despite the fact they were disqualified along with 3 other outfits for cutting the course. They have become the 1990 European Sidecar Champions. So we are looking at the 1990 European Sidecar Champions, Darren and Sean Dixon. Back circulating again, number 14, Rob Fisher and Trevor Crone. Dixon could do nothing about their Supercup championship, so they really now have to try and get back into the major points placings. The only other people who can steal that championship from them, and my maths are going to be stretched to the limit in this race because we've people all over the place. Derek Brindley and Nick Roche, who started at the back of the grid. Also a mathematical chance for Vic Jefford and Peter Hill. Now Vic Jefford and Peter Hill started well down the order. They were in fact on row, and I'm looking for it now, row 5, Vic Jefford and Peter Hill. Number 8, Vic Jefford, he's in 8th place at the moment. So he was very well down the order. I can't understand why the practice was all over the place. It was very, very difficult indeed. Through on the inside. Barry and David Smith, number 18, fighting off the challenge there, but a lot of activity at the hairpin. Mark Reddington, Robert Parker, second fastest qualifiers, are in second place in the race. But the race leader, Darren Dixon, the new European champion. Roger, this man, Darren Dixon, rides a 250 with equal talent. It's amazing how he can jump from a solo into a sidecar.
Yeah, I think his expertise in the sidecar class has shown, and he's taken to it very well.
second place. Mark Reddington, Robert Parker. So, Reddington Parker outfit from Stourbridge in Worcestershire. The LCR Krauser, the LCR is the chassis, Krauser is the engine. Joint 8th in the 1989 European Championship, looking for a better result this year, but they haven't been able to do that. So a lot of activity still. Reddington now coming under real pressure from number 38. Second place man. Tight at the hairpin, lots going on. Goddards now. The sidecar race still very much alive, looking for number 14. The Fisher Crone outfit. Smith is down in 7th place. Mick Boddice, number 17, has moved up to 6th. So Mick Boddice, the man with 27 years experience, and we're looking at him now on the Trever Ireson chassis Yamaha. Mick Boddice, 7 times a TT winner on that very short, and he admits the fact that it's a disadvantage because he loses out on handling. He can't get the power down on the track, gets a lot of wheel spin. So, Darren and Sean Dixon, number 9, race leader. Number 3, Barry Brindley and Julian Tailford in 3rd place. Derek Brindley is the man who can win the championship. He is the man who qualified at the back of the grid and is having to work very hard indeed and not on the leaderboard. So it looks as though Derek Brindley has surrendered any chance of the championship. But still great stuff here. So the Fowler Yamaha of Brindley. 28 upside down, the outfit upside down, number 28. So that's the Cookson Jones outfit, the passenger being helped away, the driver will be pulled out of that. Mick Cookson and Mike Jones on the Windle Yamaha being helped away from the circuit as over the line goes Dixon. Barry Brindley, Julian Tailford go across. Then it's Mark Reddington, Robert Parker across the start-finish line. The Knight Jackson outfit, number 38, are in 4th place. Everybody okay. Number 4, the outfit of Clive Stirrat and Simon Pryor as well. All drivers and passengers on their feet, but a lot of work to do back in the workshop to get the sand out of the works. Brindley Tailford, number 3, in 2nd place now. The race leader, Darren and Sean Dixon. Well, Roger, the sidecar race, following the pattern of the solos, eventful to say the least.
Absolutely, and the circuit conditions again proving quite difficult. The majority of people think that the sidecar driver is the star of this show, of this 2-man effort on 3 wheels, but to be quite honest, I feel that the sidecar passenger does far more work than the driver and has to be just as skillful. I was lucky enough once to have a lap around the Donington Park track with 3-time world champion Steve Webster, and after 2 laps my arms pumped up so much I couldn't grip, I couldn't hold on any longer. And look at the sidecar passenger then doing all the work, moving over the rear wheel of the outfit to give it maximum grip, then getting down behind the bubble, then up again, up he comes, obviously going into another right turn now. Here we are at the Melbourne Loop. He's putting weight on the rear wheel there to give it good traction, and really the passenger does the majority of the work.
As Barry Brindley and Julian Tailford exit Goddards in 2nd place, I will tell you the news that Rob Fisher and Trevor Crone are in 10th place and will therefore pick up 1 point, and at least they're running, which is more than I can say for Derek Brindley. So it looks very much as though the machine we're looking at now, number 14, will indeed win the 1990 Shell Oil Sidecar Super Cup Series by virtue of the fact that they have scored consistently and are keeping going. But the race leaders, number 9 Darren and Sean Dixon on the Paget Yamaha, 1990 European champions, are definitely the men in form. 10th place in your picture now, number 14 Rob Fisher, Trever, Crone. Roger, I'm at a total loss as to what their problem could have been, because they looked, to all intents and purposes, as though they were retiring for good.
Absolutely, yes. Listening to the machine as it comes past us in the commentary point, I can't help but think that there's something wrong with the exhaust. It's very, very noisy as it's coming past here, and obviously under power. They're actually leading the championship and are now down in 10th place. Although they're working their way through the field, they're lapping some 3 seconds a lap slower than the leading pair.
That's all they have to do. 44 points is what they have at the moment. And Derek Brindley and Nick Roche are not in the same race. In fact, they're in 13th place. They've just appeared on the computer here. 13th place, not enough. They will really have to pull something out of the bag. Rob Fisher obviously will be getting the signals from his pit crew as to where he is, and the championship will be his if he can just keep going, even if he picks up no points. The important thing is that Derek Brindley is behind him. I'm also a little confused as to where Vic Jefford has gone, because he qualified very well down and he's not running at all in the race. So a real problem for Jefford and Hill. They were in 3rd place in the championship and will do nothing to improve on that. Barry and David Smith running in 4th, so the Smith pairing from Brighton, number 18. This is the 2nd place man, Barry Brindley and Julian Tailford. The sidecar race very, very strung out now. There is absolutely no stopping the Paget Yamaha in the hands of Darren and Sean Dixon, the leaders and the new European champions. Brindley has had a very disappointing year on the Grand Prix scene this season. Finished 8th in the world in 1989, was unable to do anything at all in 1990, was fraught with injuries, crash problems, mechanical problems, resulted in a very disappointing result. Vince Butler, Sean back there in 5th, and the Knight Jackson outfit now relegated to 6th place. But Barry and David Smith from Brighton on their carbon fibre Windle, built especially for them by the Arrows Formula One racing team, running nicely in 4th, considering the fact they qualified on pole in very wet conditions. They're doing a good job in 4th place. Sean Dixon holding down the 3rd wheel out of Goddard's. Down goes the head, along the straight into top gear, past the end of the pit lane, down towards Redgate. 2nd place man Barry Brindley. Julian Tailford, who has in his time ridden with Eddie Wright, now holding down the 3rd wheel of Barry Brindley. Barry and David Smith are now up to 3rd, so the Smith pairing tucking down along the straight have got past Reddington and Parker and are up to 3rd. So the 3rd and 4th place dice we're looking at now. 31 and 28 years of age respectively, Barry and David Smith started their career in motocross at schoolboy level, rode in sidecar motocross together, obviously learning each other's ways and particular foibles. That's very important to a pairing, and a brother pairing, as I've said many times before, very, very useful. So the distinctive white outfit with the ADM motor in the Windle chassis of the Smith brothers. They have a full Grand Prix campaign already lined up for 1991, sliding it sideways there, all on slicks, Roger. We've been very lucky that the weather has held off.
Yeah, of course, as opposed to the solos, the sidecars have 3 wheels, and they can get away with a slick tyre, whereas solo couldn't. Should a solo go out on a difficult track surface with slick tyres, it would inevitably lose traction and probably fall down. Whereas the outfits, as we've just seen there, with Smith's outfit, he can actually slide the thing, and it doesn't matter if it loses grip a little bit, because he's not going to fall off it as a solo would. But I think Darren Dixon is particularly good in that when you think 3 years ago he led the 500cc British Championship, he's ridden in the 250cc British Championship, and he's now dominating this this sidecar race.
Well, Mark Reddington and Robert Parker really closing again, but there's still a tremendous battle going on between Gary Thomas and Tony Strevens for 4th place. Also, Mick Boddice is closing in on the action. There's Kenny Howells on the green outfit behind Mick Boddice. We're looking at Boddice now, number 17. Boddice and Dave Wells from Kidderminster in Worcestershire are being chased by Kenny Howells and Steve Pointer, also from Kidderminster in Worcestershire. But this is the battle now for 3rd, 4th and 5th place. Gary Thomas and Tony Strevens, formerly a passenger with Ray Gardner, are in 4th and going hard. The Smith brothers will have to work hard to keep Gary Thomas at bay because he's on the charge, he's pushing hard, anxious to get a 3rd place. Thomas in the championship, not in the top 10. Of course, the Smiths haven't featured at all because they've been busy on Grand Prix duty, so they've turned out for the last national meeting in the National Series to at least get some experience with the national crews, and they're doing a very, very good job here in 3rd place. But Dixon and Brindley, and I would have expected Brindley to beat the Smiths. I'm astonished that the new European champion is as far in front of Brindley. On the inside at the Melbourne hairpin, Gary Thomas and Tony Strevens through. The back end flicks round, so they break traction there, going in, locking the back wheel almost.
Yeah, I think actually the track surface is a little more difficult. There you see Thomas can try to come up the inside. He's on a wet part of the racetrack and couldn't make it. And down to the Melbourne Loop there, as we saw them, they both ran wide. And I think it's just a problem that the track's been wet and it's very, very greasy.
With 2 laps to go, as Gary Thomas and Barry and David Smith struggle for that vital 3rd place, it might be opportune to tell you that next season the sidecar class will be restricted to the Formula 2 variety in the Supercup races. That will mean 350cc 2 strokes or 600cc 4 strokes, and there the 4-cylinder Hondas are very, very important. The Kawasaki 4-cylinder, we'll see a few of those. But the championship looks to be sewn up now by Rob Fisher and Trevor Crone, who are in 9th place, will collect 2 points, will move themselves on to 46. Neither of these 2 crews have any real chance of doing anything in the championship. They've not scored points to any degree in the series so far for a variety of reasons. But Thomas now moving out of the slipstream with the Smith brothers on the inside. David Smith looked across and they were locked up on the brakes. They're snaking their way in. So Gary Thomas and Tony Strevens are through into 3rd place, down towards the hairpin. That was a bold move, Roger.
Yeah, and once again, Thomas did that by having to go, here we are, look, Thomas is actually moving onto the wet part of the racetrack, as you can see. He manages to keep grip, he manages to keep traction and turns the outfit in and blocks Smith out completely. Oh dear, look at that. Brindley and Roche.
Derek Brindley and Nick Roche being lifted out of the sand trap. So their charge, and they were sitting in about 10th place, 11th place. Their charge is over. Nick Roche getting a little bit of attention, obviously, with the outfit falling on him. But upside down, lifted out of the sand trap. So they have ruined their chances of finishing well up in the championship. This is the man who will lift the 1990 Shell Oil Sidecar Supercup title, Rob Fisher and Trevor Crone. In the lead, however, by a mile, metaphorically speaking, Darren and Sean Dixon, the number 9 pairing of Darren and Sean Dixon. Brindley and Roche walking away. Nick Roche, very, very experienced. They will regret that because they've ruined their chances. They might just, however, cling on to 2nd place in the championship. In fact, they will, but they're both fit and well. The race goes on at the front of the action. The number 12 outfit there of Sam Hamilton and George Hamilton. There's your race leader. So the Hamilton brothers, Express Tyre Services of Lockerbie, about to be lapped, and they are as Dixon goes through. up towards Goddard's and round. So Dixon piles on the coals again down the straight. 1 lap to do for Darren and Sean Dixon before they get the win here today that they should have had yesterday, only to be disqualified. So, what an eventful sidecar race, Roger. There's been action every lap.
It's been absolutely incredible. 2 people that were in contention for the championship, and we thought both of them were losing out at some stage. But it's all settled down now. It was sorry to see the outfit there tipped up. It looked like they'd spun off at the old hairpin and tipped upside down. But Dixon has driven impeccably. And I think we've got to say that this bloke's going to go on to bigger things, and he must do well in the World Championships next year with performances like this.
Well, the brother pairing from Folkestone in Kent, Darren and Sean Dixon, and my mind goes back just for a second to 1988 when Darren Dixon was unbeatable in the Supercup series on a very elderly RG500 Suzuki, and really gave us something to think about. Same colouring, same livery, the same Paget's deal. And what a rider he is, what an immense amount of talent to be able to turn his hands from a 500 through 250 racing onto the 3-wheel brigade with such success. 1990 European champion, about to lift this round 7, the final round of the Shell Oils Super Cup series, also supported by Motorcycle News. He's on his way now. Dixon up towards Goddard's for the last time. Out goes Sean, just hovering above the tarmac. The checkered flag is in the air. Darren and Sean Dixon go across, waiting now for the second place pairing of Barry Brindley and Julian Tailford. Just look at the lead they have. Brindley and Tailford go over. There are the race winners. The 3rd place will go to Gary Thomas and Tony Strevens, who are well among the back markers. As the rest of the tail-enders go over, Thomas and Strevens get it. They lap the Hamilton brothers from Lockerbie, and Smiths get 4th. Championship positions, that means that Fisher and Crone still lift the title on 47 points. They are the new champions for 1990. Rob Fisher, Trever, Crone from Workington in Cumbria on 47 points. The Brindley Roche outfit are on 40 in 2nd place, despite being upside down in the sand. Jefford and Hill on 39, Vince Buckler, Sean Buck. But these are your championship winners, Rob Fisher and Trever Crone on the big Suzuki from Cumbria.